her microphone. I can't hear me. Hello?
By being a Karen, I have gotten us free Happy Meals now because the place forgot our Happy Meal. They wrote me a nice letter and they sent me...
Stop getting Happy Meals, for God's sakes. Oh.
It was going to have a Mickey toy.
No Mickey toys. There's Mickey toys all over the house. No more.
It makes your son happy.
For the third week in a row, my kids have put groceries away. It kills me. Have put groceries away that are supposed to be frozen, either just on a shelf, which I discovered 2 days later, or in the fridge. That one could be salvageable. I'm not going to eat it, though. We'll feed it to our daughter and make it a guinea pig.
I think you have like 2 or 3 days after you put something in the fridge that was frozen. It's never dipped below the temperature. God. And
what else was there? Oh yeah, I have one of those cooler things that you put a spiked seltzer in.
Like a koozie thing, yeah.
Koozie thing, but it makes it cool. It makes it cold.
Yeah, it's like a metal one.
I got 2 a year ago on Amazon Prime because they were the cheapest ones. And my sons are using it as a freaking glass for chocolate milk. Oh, and what was the third thing? It always comes on threes.
Yeah, I heard you yell at me because I didn't cover the beef when I put it back in the fridge.
And Alice Shattuck from like 1946 rules of spoilage just puts the hamburger meat.
I was just rushing and I couldn't find a Ziploc.
This is not, we cannot be, no. And so she just put the meat just out there. Just
in the fridge.
One of the natural smells in the fridge now. Oh.
I was going to cover it later. I've
still
rushing.
got my damn cold. And
I'm sorry.
I've been shoveling, so my back is hurting. And this freaking ice storm, though cool, was freaking terrible today.
Yeah, this morning was rough.
All right.
I had to form a convoy to the bus stop with our kids to avoid. Because obviously I was like, this is extremely slippery. Don't step out here. And one of them immediately stepped out there and was like a cartoon with their legs went flying. And I fortunately was holding on to them. So I salvaged the situation. But they were like, whoa, it is slippery. And I was like, yes, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay. So tonight, Alice, when do you have to leave? 7:15?
Mm-hmm.
So to get one of our people from somewhere.
3 of our people.
Oh, yeah, 3 of our people.
From 2 different places, yes.
Right, okay. And so, at any time tonight, do you think, and it could go either way, sometimes you stop at, McDonald's, or sometimes you might stop and get a coffee. Sometimes you might stop and get a bit last-minute thing at the grocery store. Sometimes you might just drive the car at a cop. Will that be happening tonight, do you think? What are the chances? Because apparently, it's impossible not to do.
Right. I don't think that I'm going to be accelerating my vehicle towards a cop or other federal agent, other law enforcement
officer.
If
you get pulled over tonight, will you reach for the cop's gun?
I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
If you get pulled over, will you resist arrest? And so you never give in so that he has to put his knee on you to lock you up. We do any of those things. The point is this, and... sorry that we've lost a fellow human being in Minnesota.
I mean, it's pretty awful, actually. And this is, I guess what Trump brainworms do to you. Because have you seen more has been dripping out about this woman who was killed in Minnesota by an ICE agent? She accelerated her vehicle. They stopped. She was blocking ICE from making a raid. And she was parked or not parked, I don't know, whatever, across the road, blocking them. They exited the vehicle. They asked her to get out of her vehicle. She did not get out of the vehicle. He started to open the driver's side door of the vehicle, and she backed up her car and then accelerated towards the ICE agent who was in front of her, who shot her. And she's dead, which is awful. She apparently has kids. She's a 37-year-old woman in Minnesota. And I don't know. I'm told white people don't have to have the talk with their kids about, so maybe that's what happened, is that nobody ever had the talk with this woman.
And Tim Walz got out there and said, and the Republicans are using our city now as a theater show for their politics. It's like, no, you guys trained everybody to do this acting, this role playing. You've told them it's okay.
Yeah, you told them ICE was the Gestapo.
Exactly. You told them to do this. You told them to be disrespectful, and now one person's dead. And that's on you. And if it happens again tomorrow, that's on you again and again and again and again.
Well, and one of the things that's fascinating about this is that I was watching this unfold on Twitter, and there's a variety of video of this incident from various angles. And This seems to be one of those incidents that I think it was a Ross Douthat column that called it a scissor originally, when this was the Nick Sandman at the March for Life and the Indian guy was like shaking a tambourine at him and he was smiling, and like where it's one of these events that just splits people right in two. Everybody's looking at the same video of it. I would call the Kyle Rittenhouse thing another one of these, where to half the country, they watch all the same video, and it's completely obvious to them that ICE in cold blood shot this woman for absolutely no reason. She was just trying to get away. They were breaking the law. They're murderers. And like to the other half of the country, they look at this video and see what you and I see, which is that she accelerated her vehicle towards him. You can see where the bullet hole is in the car. It's in the windshield. She was driving towards the officer. She did start to turn towards the end of the incident. So, you know, maybe she was just planning to drive away. But if you're the officer who's standing in front of the car, you don't know that she's going to start to turn until she does. So he had drawn his weapon and was pointing it at her, and she accelerated the vehicle towards him. I don't see any other possible interpretation of that event, but I recognize that half of my fellow countrymen are seeing the same video and see a murder.
No, but they're being intellectually lazy because they're starting at the point of the shooting. They're not starting at the point where none of this had to escalate whatsoever. So you get to the point where you're punching a cop and you're on him, and then start it right before you get shot, and then say, "Oh, see, she didn't have to do any of this stuff. These are federal agents doing their jobs. She's been ginned up to be because of Trump, to be some kind of social hero, and she put herself in danger. She got herself shot. There's a reason. It doesn't go. It's never gone into my head when I've been pulled over by police. I was pulled over by a cop a month ago in Exeter, New Hampshire. It never entered my head to do anything.
No, to drive away, to first of all be causing a scene. I mean, she wasn't even pulled over. She drove her car out in front of them to block them from doing anything.
I'm sorry, so I can give the cop the credit because he was a good guy. But there's no time did I say, like, give the cop, like, why do you have to check my license? Why do you have to do this? Like, there was no time of that. No time was I going to get out of the car
citizen,
or rush him or run away. Like, there's no. All you have to do. This is the social compact we have. Is you oblige by what you comply by what law enforcement wants. If you got a grievance, you can take it up afterwards. That's how it's done. Like when Alice didn't get her 2 Happy Meals, she could have crawled through the window and tried to beat the crap out of everybody. It's not how it's done. And these
Do you remember there was like a rash of people calling 911 because they like didn't get their fast food order?
Yeah.
There was like a whole time of that. Yeah. But there are a whole bunch of people that apparently don't understand that like you shouldn't escalate situations with law enforcement with guns. Right? And that if you, have a problem with how they behave, then you do it afterwards. A bunch of the activists and now some politicians have referred to her as a legal observer.
Oh, God. This is one of those Antifa people with construction tape on the back of their vests.
Yeah, but there's now been, I mean, like, this is now escalating more. There have been huge crowds over this area. They've forced ICE to retreat out of the area. There's, like, more protests. They're, like, tear gassing people or whatever they do.
Towards that.
Walz is saying he's activating the Minnesota National Guard to, I guess, fight off ICE. I mean, I didn't have Minnesota being the first state to secede on my bingo card this
Jesus,
year.
Alice. We're not better than bingo card.
I'm playing I didn't have.
Here's Walz.
Minnesota National Guard.
Hold
We
on.
have order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction.
So don't run them over.
Yeah, these are the good cops.
Right. The bad people are the ICE ones. Run them over.
Professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota.
Of course, it's always a prop, which is why they encourage this. These people, Jacob Fry and Tim Walz, don't keep order in their cities. And they got more people killed after George Floyd than had been killed by ICE. Right. So, like, these people are as good as murderers. And they're encouraging this and cultivating this, and it's freaking shameful. And this guy Fry, I don't know. I'm not.
And I have a message for ICE. to ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
I don't call for violence at all. Mm-hmm. New subject. I'm thinking of somebody right now so in need of a fucking thorough ass kicking and a beatdown that I can't get over it. And this person is a particularly bitchy, effeminate, weird panderer. And God, what a piece of shit. Now back to Jacob Fry. I think that he's not a good mayor. I'm come to that conclusion that he's not a good mayor, and I think that he's also going to be going to jail when he and some of his Somali buddies and his closeted governor go to jail.
I mean, yeah. So obviously this fraud scandal has been like one whole thing, and then they've been encouraging people not to comply with ICE, referring to ICE as, secret police, Gestapo, forces of the Trump administration. And like you said, ginning up this group of people who are clearly mentally unwell. Mm-hmm. Like the type of people that have been standing out at the No Kings protests and whatever and think our democracy is being stolen and are for some reason upset that Trump got rid of a violent dictator. Like, I don't know what place they're in mentally, but it's clearly not a stable place. And they've been encouraging people to essentially like put their lives on the line against federal law enforcement, performing legitimate federal law enforcement activities. And now somebody's dead. And instead of taking a pause to think about maybe they've inflamed some tensions that didn't need to be inflamed, and they could have encouraged their supporters to lower the temperature, just like ratchet everything back a little bit here. Instead of doing that, they are trying to raise the temperature more, say they're going to bring out the National Guard, tell ICE to go away, say that this is ICE's fault for even being there in the first place.
And know what they're calling this incident.
A murder?
Right. They're calling this incident a murder. Here's Mom Dami.
Yeah. Mayor of Minneapolis, Fry, has said ICE should get the F out of Minneapolis. Do you have the same attitude in New York? And do you have any idea whether President Trump plans to surge ICE agents here? And even if he doesn't, how to protect New Yorkers?
No, I can't speak to what the president will do. I can tell you, however, what I've also said to him directly, which is that I believe that these raids are cruel and inhumane, and they do nothing to actually serve the interests of public safety. And what New Yorkers want to see is a city that they are safe in, a city that they can also feel comfortable leaving their home in. And so we will continue to make clear that this is a city that stands up for immigrants, and also this is a city that will follow its laws of sanctuary city policies, precisely because these are laws that keep New Yorkers safe. And prior to this moment in time, these were laws that were defended by people of both parties because of what they were seeing as actually delivering.
Yeah.
There you go. So, but by and large, the talking points are out there, and they've decided that, yes, this is just a murder, and they will refer to it as a murder. And that's what they're going with, and it's going to end up getting more people murdered. Here's Dan Goldman of New York.
Invading our cities, using excessive force, lawlessly, with new agents, without proper training. And sadly, this was not unexpected, but it is egregious. It was an outright murder. And the fact that the administration is trying to defend the ICE officer when everyone can see with their own eyes that that car was trying to get away because it still turned away from the officer after she was shot in the head. So the fact that they are arguing that somehow this is domestic terrorism, much less an attack on ICE, is preposterous.
And he's one of these people who are going to get more people killed.
Yeah. And like I say, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that the left is...
Oh, sorry.
People on the left are looking at this and saying, like, this is absolutely a clear-cut case of murder. It's not self-defense, The angle of a lot of the videos is a little weird, but you can clearly see that he is standing in front of the vehicle. She starts to accelerate toward him. He draws his weapon and shoots, and then she turns. And so he fires, I think, 3 shots. And the second 2, he's kind of on the side because she's at that point turned the vehicle. But The first shot, like I said, like there's photos of the car. The first shot is through the windshield of the car. He was clearly in front of the vehicle.
Well, and if you want to say, okay, the first one, but the second two, she clearly was turning away. That's why you don't get involved in a bang play with officers.
Right.
That's why you
because once they're shooting, they're shooting.
Right, and it's all chaos. It's amazing. Here's more Tim Walz.
He said, well, we need to stand by and protect our law enforcement. Officers from this radical left movement of violence and hate. Wondering what you make of that as your word for law enforcement.
Look, and I understand the uniqueness of this moment in this week, following this week, seeing what's happening in the backdrop of a show hearing in D.C. My job is to govern, and my job is to see what the facts are.
They consider the Medicaid fraud hearing a show hearing.
Of course they do.
Because obviously they consider giving money away to foreigners who shouldn't be here the right thing, and they get it back, and they think they're really good people. So, yeah, we give it to them. They run sham businesses. They give us some back. We're the good guys.
This happened a couple of hours ago, and we're already pitting American against American.
Son of a bitch. Can you imagine he says that? Oh, who is? Who is Tim Walz?
All of you saw a video in your eyes. We have a chaotic situation caused by the largest deployment in American history of federal agents into a community.
Caused by what? Caused by the federal agents doing their job, which is that your stupid party decided to let in millions of people who should not be here, including criminals, people on welfare, like just every bad person in the world, terrorists, whoever else. And like Trump said, and some I assume are good people. But like the history doesn't start on the day that ICE was deployed.
Of course not.
Like all this stuff happened in the lead up.
You did it all. You brought them in. You let them defraud stuff. You made this stuff fraudable. You didn't want anybody vetted because Trump was talking about open borders. You said, no. Trump is mean. Let more. Biden said, surge to the border. They did.
Yeah.
There you go. Ugh.
Community with no communication to locals. We had a chaotic situation where an individual is in their car, shot and killed. And so, look,
Any more to the story, Tim? Nope. She was in her car, shot and killed. They just walked up to the car.
She was obviously trying to leave. Like, what? Is that normally what happens when you're obviously trying to leave a scene where federal agents are asking you to get out of your vehicle? Like,
it's such God.
And a bunch of people have been posting like the rules for DHS agents. Like, they're not supposed to shoot into vehicles to stop people from getting away. Mm-hmm. Like, if that's the only reason. But this guy was in front of the car and she started to accelerate towards him.
I would say that, yes.
So
and
I don't
also,
know
somebody willing to accelerate at the cop in their car is willing to do a whole bunch of stuff.
I want to be very cautious here because
it's too late, Tim.
Donald Trump will make this about me.
Oh, shut up, dude. You're going to jail anyway. It's so funny. Like, the one thing that finally got Tim Walz to lose weight is being nervous as hell, unable to eat. Here's Ayanna Presley. I don't even know what this is about, but I want to see it.
He was an election denier. So an election fraud lie. Now, he claims he did these things in the name of patriotism, but really he's just a criminal. So raise your hand if you oppose Trump's pardon of this Minnesota individual.
Ma'am, this grandstanding nonsense
this is not grandstanding.
Exactly
this is
what
accountability.
Minnesotans hate about D.C.
This is accountability, and you are hypocrites. So again, I will take your refusal.
Thanks for demonstrating my opening
Mr.
statement.
Chairman, order, decorum. She's off the rails.
Reclaiming my time. I'm not off the rails, please.
You are totally off the rails.
Nancy, enough with your tropes. Give me my time back.
Order, Mr. Chairman.
If Republicans were serious about reclaiming
You
press
your time.
my constituents.
You have no time left.
You
don't get to accuse me of things that you're overtime.
You're out of time. You're out of time.
She's doing this in response to Comer's asking about Minnesota.
We're done here. We're done.
Touch in out of time.
At least 10
Mr. Chair, she's out of time.
Time's expired.
Out of order and out of time. time.
Ms. Presley, you've
You all are
already
very
secured your
unserious.
MSNBC spot tonight.
I'm not
Your
look-
time's
I'm
required.
looking for
Chair
accountability,
recognizes Ms.
and you
Mays
want to
from
We're
run
gonna be
from
so
the
South
good
whole
on
Carolina.
MSNBC.
Chair
of your
recognizes
king
Ms. Mays.
and this administration.
Thank you, Mr.
Chair
Chairman.
recognizes Ms.
And
Mays.
Mr. Chairman, I agree.
You
She's
don't
going to be
care
a great
about
host on
hungry children. You wanna be
MSNBC.
cutting
This is
medicine.
my
I
time.
wouldn't want to jump in front of
reclaim
Ms.
my
Mays
time.
if I were you, Ms.
I
Presley.
reclaim my time. This is my time.
I wouldn't want to interrupt Ms. Mays. It's her time. Chair recognizes Ms. Oh.
Mr. Chair,
You're out of order.
she did not get all of her time.
Mr. Chairman,
She wants to
still out of
insult us for
order.
10 more seconds.
What do
Your
we
time
have to
has
do to
expired.
get this
Chair-
woman in order?
Her time has expired. Chair recognizes
You're
Ms.
going to
Mays.
be great on TV. You're really.
That is great. The other thing that happened with Presley was, did you see this today or yesterday?
I didn't.
Maybe Jerry had it. I'm not even sure it was. But was it Presley? Yeah, that's right. Rep Presley's ex-con millionaire husband knocks a phone away from a reporter.
You support. Sir, do not take my phone out of my hand. Sir, Congresswoman Presley, do you support President Trump investigating Somali child care fraud in Minnesota? Congresswoman Presley.
And the thug ex-husband is looking behind and menacing the guy. Guten Tag.
I don't understand how we can be in the same country and all see the same events transpire and
Else,
have
don't put it
such
as equal. It's not
widely
equal because they're
differing views of reality.
emotional and gone. They show it day to day how effed up they are. We're much more neutral. We call more balls and strikes.
I think so, but we're living in a country, certainly we're living in a state with a lot of people who feel that way.
Yes.
A lot of people who think what that woman did made total sense under the circumstances. Which, how do you, as a mom, find yourself in a situation where you're even, trying to block ICE with your car?
No.
This is the result of the many months of LARPing they have been doing, trying to pretend that they're fighting the Nazis in their brave resistance movement. That's the problem. That's the problem, is that they've been playing pretend, but it turns out law enforcement officers don't like it when your pretend games threaten to run them over. It's not all fun and games. And believe me, the Nazis would not have had such a hard time keeping order under these circumstances.
No.
So this is everybody's tolerating this insanity and behavior on the part of our friends on the left. But I don't know what to do anymore with people that are this unhinged. Because there's a whole group of people that you and I can't even talk to about anything.
So our reporter from the Maine Wire, John Featherston, was up. First of all, Elon Musk retweeted a guy who is up in Maine, a Somalian, who said, Democrats, if you keep going after us for fraud, we're not going to vote for you anymore. And they do it. They're very bold about it. So, but anyway, Featherston today went up to the State House for their session that starts today, and not shockingly, they wouldn't let him go in. So he can't come in. Can't come in. Then eventually, a couple of Republicans said, "Hey, come on up here. You're letting him in. You're letting him in." And he went up to the balcony and he got in. But while they weren't letting him in, Republicans in the well said, "Hey, Speaker of the House." The Speaker of the House named Ryan Fecto. He's 32 years old. Psycho. Said, "Hey, you guys are keeping the press out. You can't do this." He then said, "Nobody's keeping the press out. Nobody. Don't say it's not true." He then got salty.
Some file. It's a vote. Communication. The chair would inquire as to why the representative from Bridgeton rises.
Speaker, I would think that you would be very interested in knowing if somebody were being discriminated against from the media who was from being prevented from coming into this body.
The chair is very interested, but we have work before us. If the press wants to come in, they're allowed entry. The door's there. They can walk in.
He was not allowed to walk in. He went to the door. They said no.
What was the purported reason for this?
It was the sergeant at arms, whatever, said you need to have credentials. Nobody really has credentials anymore. It's an old thing. You don't need credentials. Nobody's checking.
The representative from Portland, Representative Crockett, moves for the member will defer. This is not an opportunity for argument. We're not going to start session this way. We're not going to start session this way. The representative will defer. I have responded to your
Okay, psycho.
inquiry. Did I not?
Once again, listen to the gavel at the beginning.
Some file. It's a vote. Communicate.
Angrily. But these people are psychos. And it's not just one person or another person. These people by design now are psychos. And they're emotional. There are very few. There are a few. You know what the problem is? Is that the left doesn't learn about politics the way we do. We have all sorts of liberal media around us, and we have to watch it. We had the benefit of having a Rush Limbaugh to explain a lot of stuff. Not necessarily all his views. There's plenty of pro-choice conservatives, but he taught a lot of people how to watch the media.
Right.
And they didn't have one. And they totally believe in credentialed and the intelligentsia, conventional wisdom, what the right people are doing at the right cocktail parties, those kind of people. And so they don't know a lot. They don't know. You show them something in politics and they assume it's the first time it's ever happened. They have no idea, which is why one of the few classes of progressives that I can talk to, and I have been able to for the last 20 years since I've been doing this, are Democratic consultants, like Scott Fairson.
Because they're like more cynical and they don't really believe
they've seen
all
everything.
Stuff.
They know the horse trading. They see, they're just cynical. They know it's not about ideology.
Well, yeah. So then when some hack comes out and says that Trump's threatening our democracy and that this is the worst attack on our democracy since Pearl Harbor, they like take it with a grain of salt because they've seen stupid politicians say stupid stuff like this before.
Away from the camera, they take it with a grain of salt.
Right. But all the people who've just tuned in believe that it's real, that this is literally the worst attack on our democracy since Pearl Harbor, that we're literally living under a fascist state, that Trump is literally flouting international law and, attacking other countries and all of this stuff. They think it's real, which is why they think that it's important, so important that they not come home to their kids tonight. They think it's incumbent upon them to try and run over ICE officers with their car.
Right.
And that is a disaster for our country. And the fact that they're just so out of touch with reality, I don't know, it's fascinating. There was this statistic, Billy Binion tweeted this a couple of days ago from an article saying that 41% of Democratic college students would not support a Republican-run business, 37% would not be friends with a Republican, and 30% would not work for one. The Republican numbers regarding Democrats were 7% wouldn't support a Democrat-run business, 5% would not be friends with a Democrat, and 7% would not work for a Democrat.
Right.
And I don't know. I saw somebody, this appears to be a young woman who then responded to this. Why should I be forced to spend money at a company that will use its pay for lawsuits to deny reproductive health care to their employees? Why do I have to be friends with people that think I shouldn't be able to marry my girlfriend? This is unilateral because Republicans support policies that are malicious. Deep down, even Republicans know that, which is why they're okay associating with Democrats. They know Democrats don't have malicious policies, even for all their public whining about it. So they take Republicans saying, can't we just agree to disagree, as an endorsement that Republicans know that Democrats aren't really bad people because they're actually the good guys. Deep down, we know they're the good guys and we're the bad guys.
That's a great tweet. That's a great observation. Absolutely. It is. It's not true, but it's a great observation. But just think how much is couched.
Because they take our being nice as an acknowledgement that we think they're actually right and we're just being mean for no reason whatsoever.
Exactly. And also, that's proven in as deep as it goes is malicious.
Yeah,
they don't want us to.
We don't like you because you're actually mean people.
Yeah,
you don't dislike us because we're nice.
Right. We want to let everybody do all the things. You have problems against it. I don't want to hear why. It's because you're a monster. Well, why don't you learn why? Why don't you learn why people were
Why should they have to listen to Nazis?
Right, and that makes it easy. Why should they have to do it? Why can't they run over Nazis? And so they do.
Which it's terrible because now a mom is not going to come home to her kids tonight because they believed their own stupid rhetoric about this stuff. It's tragic and it's sad and it's awful. And like ultimately at the end of the day, if they continue to escalate in this way, like we're not going to be able to share a country.
No. I agree.
Because they don't want to be able to share a country.
Well, no, they hate us.
And like, it sounds like an exaggeration, but I mean, you saw the reaction when they killed Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
Is just like open celebration. They're happy to kill us.
All right. Chat.
Yeah, let's head to the chat.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
Chappie's becoming one of my favorites, by the way.
Very good.
But to his point, and to my point, and just the utter buffoonery on this show, he makes a point that the microphones are all messed up. I make a point that the microphones are messed up. And someone else did too, I believe. And Tom goes, "Is something wrong with the microphones?" In that gross
You forgot
voice.
that happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, people bring up the fact that there's something wrong, seriously wrong with your podcast. And you go,
Yeah.
Something wrong with the podcast? Something wrong with the microphones? Huh, who would have thought?
I'm out of
34
Ram.
seconds.
I'm out of Ram, Billy. You're pouring a beer into a shot glass, right, Albie?
Mm-hmm.
Remember my old saying? What was my old saying?
Shot glass.
That's when
when I would try and tell you anything, like what time we were leaving the house or whatever.
No, it was when you tried to explain things to me that I found humdrum.
Okay.
Let's hear from Billy again.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
I will assure you that I said Boarfest because when I'm talking about people at the main wire, Tom, Steve, and John Featherstone,
Yes.
the last thing that's going to come out of my mouth is Whorefest. Because can you imagine what that's going to be like? Good Lord.
You never know.
Total Boarfest.
You never know. Incorrect. Burning it up at the main wire, Alice. It's
I
exciting
can
time
tell.
to be there.
It's been just, I feel like I'm in a newsroom with a news ticker going or whatever, like all day now.
I
You're
dropped
like
my daughter
running
off.
around, taking calls, like doing
I
stuff.
dropped my daughter off to Fauntleroy University this morning. And every second, it was just slacks and texts. So the whole car hears them because I'm playing a podcast. So she just saw them coming and said, "Jesus, what's going on? Are we at war? Why? Why are all them?" But I stopped and wrote an article and published one on the side of the road in New Hampshire and did some other stuff. Like they are in pitch battle. It's awesome. It's really awesome because I think that's how, before I got to it, I think that's how like media used to be. You hear about newsrooms like in the day when they were vibrant and all sorts of stuff. People running to get scoops and running to the. It's like that's what's happening, and it's happening like that with the Maine Wire because there's no other media in Maine who's covering any of this. So everybody's got 80 different scalps a day. It's freaking great. All right.
I'm looking at this Maduro thing as a removal of a keystone that's going to help start to force places like Cuba and, a lesser degree, Iran and possibly China into these more difficult situations where the people actually can step up and get rid of the regimes.
It's happening in Iran right now, but it's hard to get info.
Yeah, there's stuff going on in Iran, but also this does impact our relationship with China and Russia because one of the things that was about this whole thing was that Venezuela had invested pretty heavily in like Russian anti-aircraft tech, and that's supposed to be able to like take down everything, and clearly that didn't work like at all. And so now there's been questions to like China too, like, do you guys, China and Russia, like really have the technology that you're saying that you have in order to prevent America from like doing something like this to you?
Ooh.
And I think that this move put a lot of countries that think they're, beyond our reach, it put them on a little bit of notice.
That's how I was thinking. Also, Alice, I stopped at McDonald's and got a Big Mac, and that meat could not be any thinner.
Yeah. They are pretty thin.
Both patties were thinner than the middle bread.
Yeah.
Repugnant. You got to stick with the quarter pounder.
I agree with that, but you know, if you
I
want
like
meat,
the little burgers, but I do.
If you want a meat, a Big Mac to cost $11, then well.
I love a Big Mac though, but you do have to eat two probably. You do have to eat two. One's not enough.
And by the way, you're a day and a half into this new job, and you're already tired. You would not survive one day as mayor of Providence.
Ooh, that would be nice, Buddy Cianci. I could do what that guy does. Fancy boy. No, I absolutely could. No problem with that. I've had a chest cold, so I have to make decisions. Nobody really wants to hear about this. You can hear my chest cold because it's disgusting. But so if I am speaking, I am not breathing. And so it's made my day laborious.
And you're not sleeping well.
Right, because of the chest cold. And so I'm waking up 21 times per hour. And it actually brings us to our next message.
I implore you, get rid of that CPAP machine.
Here we go.
By your own account, you said the fluid in there was somewhat brackish. It obviously is doing nothing but pumping toxins and poisons into your body. I literally think I can feel the mucus buildup as you speak.
Oh, God.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you're probably going to die from it.
Yeah.
You already had the cancer one that was recalled.
Yeah. Well, I think, I have the same one. It's just a new version of the cancer one.
But they haven't proven that this one causes cancer yet. I've got a Pinto.
Yeah. Also, I think my fatness, it's all, there are no surprises here. I'll just say that.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey,
I'm going to take a break from making fun of Tom and his grossness.
Thank you.
A little bit. I just got to tell you, I hope I'm with everyone who's listening, the four people that are listening. I am done with Minneapolis. I am done with Minnesota. Talk about a state, an insignificant state, an insignificant city in the grand scheme of things, and causing havoc. And it has been causing havoc for the better part of 5 years, starting with George Floyd and all the BS that came with that.
Yeah.
And now this and the Somalis and all this stuff. I am done with this. I want the U.S. military to go and take over Venezuela. Somehow, I'm sorry, not Venezuela. Do what they did in Venezuela to Minneapolis. I'm done with this state. I want to get rid of it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. 51 seconds.
You might get your wish here. Tim Walz is getting the National Guard suited up to fight off Trump and the ICE agents. So, I mean, anything could happen now. This feels like a weird event. It honestly does. It feels like a weird, point of no return kind of thing where, I mean, maybe this is like what Kent State felt like to people when that happened, but
I believe you had something to say about Kent State.
Yeah, I said I support what they did there.
Alice Shattuck, her name is.
There were agitators. I understand. Whatever. Anyway, we don't have to get into my take on Kent State. I
support what they did there.
I support what they did there. I do. But
it's kind of a turn on, I guess. Yes.
It feels like a weird tipping point. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here in the chat. Appreciate all of you guys supporting us on Patreon. So if you want to join the Patreon, you can do that. Patreon.com/burnbarrel. Tomorrow we'll be live and they'll have the chat for everybody. So you can all join us tomorrow. But if you want to every day join the Patreon, there's also some free extra content there. There's all the shows ad free. And of course, you can always listen at burnbarrelpodcast.com.